Okay, well, I'm going to try to shoot for 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Thursday, maybe Friday, to go live. I got new thumbnails for my lives. So here's the thing. I think when you get to my YouTube, it's hard to tell, what's what. People go in the video section and like, I can't find that video about Mass Sal that you had with your pod. Where is that? And then you have to go to the live section. So I have three sections: shorts, live, and content, the videos, right? It says video and live. So make sure to check out the live section. Well, if you're watching this, then you're checking out the live section, right? But if you want more of it, always, live podcast, and then the video is just content, me in my truck talking. Um, Today we're going to talk about why do symptoms move around, right? TMS world, they call it the symptom imperative. Um, I'm not sure the reason why the TMS uh, or what to give for it, because I haven't really read into it. But what I've found is, I'll give you an example. Let's say you're dealing with the same old gut issues, right? Hey, Maria. Let's say you're dealing with the same old gut issues, right? And then you get this new symptom. Let's say it's another physical symptom. Let's say it's a shoulder pain. Bad example, but whatever, shoulder pain. And you're just like going crazy about it. You're like, what's going on with this shoulder pain, right? And it's getting your attention, because that's the point of it. The reason why we have symptoms, because they're alarms. We have the mental alarms and we get the physical alarms, right? The brain uses them to get your attention, to perceive danger, right? When we're running a survival state, right? Alarms, we get we get tons of alarms sent our way. We get zero alarms. Alarms are turned off. You're on standby, zero, right? Over the years, we're running a survival program, right? So we're in an alarm state. And our goal is to update the alarm system. So what happens is, for example, you're dealing with the same old alarms, and you're kind of getting used to them because you're dealing with them every day. You're building that leverage of indifference slowly, right? Where you're going, meh. Yeah, it's still kind of scary. Yeah, I don't like you, but meh. And behind the scenes, right? You're sitting about, let's say you've been doing the work for, a year, and you're sitting around here, right? That's not zero. That's not here or 100. That's still around, let's see if that's 1,000. That's about like what, 800, 700, right? That's a survival state still. Not as bad as before, right? When you're going, now you're like, right? So its job is to keep sending alarms. You're not out of the woods yet. Actually, you just got into the woods. You're not even halfway into the woods, right? You just walked by Hansel and Gretel's, right? The witch just ate them. It smelled good. You walk by there, and you got a long way to go still. You're not out of the woods. You're in the woods, deep. Not even deep. You're gonna be deep eventually. So the brain still has to send alarms. It still does, right? And eventually, when you become indifferent to certain alarms, they get turned off, right? Somewhat. And the brain's like, no, 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 no. How the hell am I going to get his attention? If he's like, feeling meh to this alarm that I've been sending that's been working for years now, and all of a sudden, this alarm isn't getting his attention anymore. So what do we got to do? We got to find another alarm. Let's make a new alarm. Let's give him the shoulder pain. Boom, it's fresh. You're like, oh my goodness, this shoulder pain, fresh. It's getting your attention, right? That's its job. So you have a freak out here and there. It's still new. You haven't built that, that leverage of indifference yet. You have a couple of your freakouts, get them out of the way. That's good. You build your platform of, okay, now we're trying our best to challenge some of the beliefs. Allow them to be there. Let them do their thing. Let them run wild, right? Invite them in, hang out with them, right? They're your roommates now. They're part of the furniture. Oops. They're part of the furniture, right? And then eventually you build indifference. And when you do that with the shoulder pain, guess what? You get another symptom because you're still not out of the woods. Maybe you're at 750 instead of 800. Oh, good job. Good. You're still not out of the woods yet. You're still running that survival program. So it sends you another symptom. Or it might send you an old symptom because it knows that you're going to be chicken shit about it. You're going to be like, what the hell? Why do I have this old symptom? I thought I got rid of it. I thought we did the work. I thought it was gone. Why is it back? Right? Yeah, it'll recycle some old shit because it's going to give you doubt. Doubt is great. Gets your attention. It gets you to look for the safety wall being in the danger. Right? And it sends the OCD looping thoughts on top of it to scan for danger. So, right, it sends you an old symptom, an old one. Gives you the doubt, rains a lot of doubt in you. You're like, right? But it's able to get your attention, perceive danger. So it'll do whatever it needs to do to get your attention. It'll go back and forth to different symptoms, new symptoms, create new symptoms, right, to get your attention. And notice this. This is really important and interesting. Whenever you're dealing with, let's say, gut issues or whatever, fill in the blanks, whatever that symptom is that's scaring the shit out of you, right? 10 out of 10, and then eventually throughout the months you're doing the work and it's at like a 6 out of 10, and you get this new symptom, right? And it's a 10 out of 10 and you're focused on it, right? Like past couple months it was this thing, and then you find this new symptom. You're like, it's getting your attention. Try to pay attention to this symptom over here, right? You probably will forget that it's there. It'll be behaving, actually. It'll probably be still not as loud, but this one will be, right? And then this one will be loud again. So it'll do whatever it needs to do to get your attention, but be aware of some of the symptoms that you were freaking out about 2 weeks ago compared to now. You might not freak out about those symptoms as much as this new one or this old one that returned. So it's good to keep that in mind. I thought that, 4 o'clock, I'm going to try to go live because apparently that's where 4, 5, 6 is where the most traffic is. So I'm going to try to go, I'm going to have to pick a time and stick to it. And I'm going to have to let everybody know ahead of time when I'm going on. So let's see. Let me check my calendar. Let's see. Tomorrow. Yep. 4 o'clock. I'll be on tomorrow for sure. Friday, I'll be on probably on my phone live. We're doing it. So that's why symptoms move around, because they're constantly working to get your attention, right? The brain has alarm supply, right, that it sits on. It's got a bunch of barrels with alarms, right? It's sitting on it. It's like, all right, yeah, this one's working. It's getting his attention, right? He knows that there's danger because I keep telling him. I keep showing it that one thing. This is great. But when you start to recover, and you start turning off alarms, and you start moving down the survival, your survival program starts to calm down over time, right? You're running low on alarm supply. The brain's like, okay, well, what the hell? Almost all his physical symptoms are healed. He turned off all the alarms. They don't work anymore for me to get his attention. So I got to get crafty here. I'm running low out of supply. These are the tools that I need to get his attention, these symptoms. So I'm going to have to ramp up anxiety, right? Ramp up, give him some phobias, get him some post-traumatic stress. Let's get him to loop. And not just loop. I mean, constantly, every 2 seconds, he's looping on something harder and harder. We're not going to leave him alone. We're going to be constantly bugging him. Dude, what about this danger? What about this lagger? What about this lagger? What about this lagger? because we're not out of the woods yet. So the supply of alarms is running low. And you're not out of the woods yet. It still has to get your attention. So the alarms that are left over will get more intense. Does that make sense? Right? I would do the same thing. I would ramp up whatever I have left times 1,000. And in my case, it was my mental alarms, my anxiety, looping thoughts. So it makes total sense. Keep this in mind when you're dealing with all these symptoms coming and going, right? And it's very normal. It's very normal while going through this journey. So, let's see what we got here. Okie dokie. All right. Insomnia, broken sleep, fatigue are the biggest things, and the sensations all night are yeah. I had certain alarms that were constant throughout the 3 years, right? I was going to talk about muscle spasms today. Maybe I'll talk about that tomorrow. Or muscle tension. Sorry. This retrograde's been off the charts. Muscle tensione. Maybe I'll still talk about it. I don't know. We'll see. I remember I had around six main big alarms that the brain was able to, that was every day haunting me with, right? I was doing the methods every day, and it was still there, right? It's one of those things that you take a little bite of every day, and eventually, after the 3 years of doing this journey and doing the methods every day, it went away. Remember this: when you're doing these methods, don't expect to get relief. Right? Don't use allowing as a weapon to get rid of your symptoms. Because if you're doing that, you're reaffirming that you're getting rid of what? Right? What are we trying to get rid of? Danger. So the brain sees that and goes, okay, keep that alarm on. Right? When you're looking to see if it's gone because you've been doing the methods, see, I'm allowing and it's still here. Be aware, and I see this with all the podcasts that I talk about allowing. So I might sound like I'm repeating myself, but I think it's important. When you're looking to see if it's gone, you're not fully allowing, right? Allowing is no strings attached, no small print, right? There's no deals. We're not making any deals. When you authentically allow, you're willing to go, you know what? I'm okay with you're here for another year. Yeah, whatever. Do what you got to do. That's authentically allowing, which allows the system to calm down, and then it'll go when it's ready to go. But usually, there's a few alarms that love to linger, and mine were muscle tension, like pelvic floor pain, stomach muscles. I couldn't poop because, literally, my rectum was closed. It said, nope, not letting anything out. Sorry. Right? So, muscle tension, anxiety, OCD, looping thoughts, right? Same shit. It was lingering every day, in the mornings especially, looping all day, day in, day out, second by second, right? So you get the picture, right? You get the muscle tension, the anxiety, OCD, looping thoughts, and the third one was food sensitivities, gut reactions, right? That needed the whole journey, and it lingered, right? And there was times where I was like, dude, I've been doing the work, now I'm getting like IBS reactions. It's going being dramatic. I thought I had a calm week. I thought I was doing the work. I thought nothing happened this week. Everything's been pretty chill, and now you're fucking losing your mind. And I was eating same shit, nothing, I didn't, it's acting like I just ate a tub of fucking Thai chilies. It's being dramatic. That'll happen. So, okay, I'm getting way off track all the time. So, muscles, anxiety, food sensitivities. What else would haunt me? Oh, these looping thoughts about spirituality. For some reason, it was haunting me because I was getting into the spiritual realm a little deeper. I was already kind of spiritual, but I was getting into numerology, tarot card readings, mediumship, pendulums, and um, learning about my higher self, all this stuff, and I started seeing numbers everywhere and seeing signs everywhere and reading into them too deeply, and then pretty soon I was looking for reassurance by getting watching all these mediumship channels on YouTube and tarot card readings because I was constantly looking for safety in my danger. I became obsessed. And the more you become obsessed with it, the more the brain sends you more signs. And you're like thinking, oh my God, I just saw a dead bird on the side of the street. It was faced east. I think that means, oh no, that means, and you're Googling angel numbers, right? You're like, you are going to face a horrible darkness of, you're going to die, death, right? Oh, you got the death card in reverse. Unfortunately, somebody who's a Taurus that's born May 6th will die in the next 5, right? It was traumatizing, that shit. And I couldn't let it go because I had some readings that said not so nice things. So my brain was looping on it. It was taking that and looping on it. And one of my two biggest fears was to suffer with chronic illness for the rest of my life and never be able to live my life fully the way I want with freedom. Right? All my hopes and dreams, not going to happen, sir. No, you're going to go on disability. You're going to live in a basement with cats. That was one of my biggest fears. Another fear was death, that I was going to die. Right? You better get ready. It's saying that you're going to be in the next couple of days. It's your time. You're gonna, unfortunately, this is what the reading says. I'm sorry, you gotta, right? So that was one of my big alarms. It traumatized me, and it was even worse when I wasn't doing the methods. This was even worse when I was doing the resisting. I was trying to distract from it, avoid it. I'm like, no, get out of my head. No, no, no. Doing opposites, trying to reason with it. No, no. I don't think this is gonna happen. It can't be. This is not right. The more I did that, the more real it screamed in my face like, you're gonna die. It's going to happen today. That dream you had, that's going to happen. It's going to pan out. My dreams, I took them too seriously. I thought they were messages from beyond telling me, messages. Like I literally was losing my mind about this shit. So, muscle spasms, tension, just normal anxiety, spiritual stuff that anxiety was using against me, food sensitivities, right? These were some of the alarms that started to hang on. What else was there? I'm sure it was a couple more, but those are the biggest ones. The rest of my alarms, I had thousands of other alarms, symptoms, right? Over 70. They were day to day, right? On the Monday, it would show up, maybe weekly. I had weekly alarms that would leave, and another one would replace it. And then it turned out to be daily, right? The Tuesday, I'd be freaking out about something, and then Wednesday, it'd be something else. And then that Wednesday, I'd be like, I can't believe I was freaking out about that on Tuesday. I don't give 3 shits about that. Right? So you have like a rotating menu of crazy thoughts and alarms and symptoms that eventually can go weekly or daily. I had that. But and then you also have the big ones that stick around. Those are fun. So why was I talking about all these alarms? I think somebody said something. I just totally went deep into the rabbit hole. Right? So they will shift when they're ready to shift. And you have to allow them. This is where the allowing is really important. You're not going to, this is what I meant. Don't think you're going to have relief right away. And you know what? 9 times out of 8, usually it would bring down the energy of that alarm, whatever it was, especially thoughts. When I allowed it, let it do its thing, I processed it, it would go from a 10 to a 6, which is like, okay, a little bit of breathing room here. Thank you. But usually what happens from here to here, the journey, it's a chaotic, right? It's just as potent here as as it is here, right? Vice versa. It's just as potent. It doesn't matter. And near the end, your setbacks increase because it's got less supply, so it's going to be more intense. It makes sense. So remember, while you're doing the methods here, you're like, I'm doing the methods. Here we go, methoding. We're doing the methods. Yeah, yeah. You won't feel the relief right away. You might feel a little bit, but the big reliefs, the alarms being totally turned off, doesn't happen until you're here, right? So you're working for the future. You're working every day, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, through the months, through the years, and you're paving the road for here. This is the finish line. You find that you will get there eventually, and this is where, oh my God, I'm recovered. Yeah, freedom. Yay, right? Right. It takes time to get there, of course, but just because you're not getting the relief here does not mean you're not moving closer to the finish line, right? What this is you're doing the work. You're doing the apprenticeship to get your master's, right? So you're opening doors. Hi, how's it going? Hi, how's it going? Like every time you open another door, there's another alarm screaming at you, right? And it's more you have to do exposure. So you have to feel and allow that alarm screaming at you while sending a message of being overcooked noodles, allowing it to be there, letting it do its thing, not white knuckling through or surviving through, over and over and over and over and over again. You're the tour guide. You're showing this alarm, like the alarm comes like, hi, you're going, hi, how's it going? Okay, watch me. Okay, I'll what? All right, watch me. Right, we're good. We're good. While you feel like shit. While you feel scared, right? We're human. We're gonna be scared. It doesn't mean you're not gonna. You gotta stop being scared. Like I gotta stop. I gotta be neutral. I can't be scared right now. No, you can be scared. Just change your response. You don't have to like it. You're not gonna like it. You have to learn to be uncomfortable. You have to learn to be comfortable in the discomfort constantly. So you almost normalize it. Right? This is what I was saying that it was with somebody. I was saying for, the 8th month mark to the 3rd year mark, I was dealing with OCD looping thoughts and the mental alarms were chaotic. Right? I had to learn to build that leverage of indifference, right? I had to learn to feel like shit every day, allow it to be there, be triggered, sit in the trenches every day, second by second, right? And almost normalize it in my life, right? Where it's still hell. It still sucks. It's still lingering on. It's still strong, but you're like, yeah, well, whatever. This is normal hell. I'm making exorcisms jealous, but if you compare it to when I was first starting this journey with my mental alarms, I was losing my mind. I was so scared. It was traumatizing. It was like, holy shit. Now I'm a little bit more indifferent. It's become my friend. It's become a part of the furniture. I've normalized it. It's still just as intense, maybe even more. But I've become more resilient towards it. It hasn't shifted yet. Oh no. It probably got a little bit even worse. Right? But we are training ourselves through it, right? The fear is a good trainer, right? You're training, you're learning, you're becoming more resilient while sending a different response and updating the program, right? This is all important. But yes, it's still shitty. It's very intense. It's insanity still. It's insanity here, just like it was insane here. But you're handling it better. You're like, right? Like some people, they're able to do crazy things because of repetition. They just, they're able to swim in minus 10-degree water because they've learned it. Your body adjusts. You get used to it. It still sucks, but you get used to it. Now, if you were to put somebody, right, into your body while you're getting used to it, it sucks. It's still, I'm telling you, it still sucks. I'm still like, oh, fuck. Oh, the fear is crazy. Well, but you're able to continue with your routine. If somebody else was sitting in your body for that moment, right, while you're living life or sticking to your routine, while the alarms are screaming at you constantly, day in, day out, they would lose their mind. They would probably jump a cliff. They were like, oh my God, how do you? This is, oh my God, this is really, you should go to the hot, you should, oh my God, what's going on? I think 3, 2, 1, I think, okay, I love you. I gotta go. We gotta, this is insane. What's going on? It's just constant terror. It's constant. This doesn't make exorcisms jealous. This is way beyond that. Times that by a million. Right? They'd bitch out. Right? It's still intense. But to you, you become more indifferent to it. That's what we need. You're building that leverage of indifference. And then eventually, right, when you're fully in the danger, fully sending a message of safety in the danger, relentless danger, right? You're doing this. I'm still sticking to my routine. We're still going out. We're still doing our schedule no matter what, right? Eventually, because you're allowing the system to calm down while it's screaming at you, you're like, yeah, no, keep screaming. No, it's good. I welcome it. I'm not pushing it away. Instead, I'm allowing it, asking for more. Give me more. And eventually, it'll update. It's constantly updating. It'll update. It'll check in. Are you sure? Let's double check. Let's triple check. And eventually, poof, 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 poof. The alarms get turned off one after the other, and you get freedom. All symptoms go away. All physical symptoms go away. All the mental ones. To me, they were the worst. They were hell on earth. Hell. Yeah, right. Hell, even hell's like, right? And hell's like, I'm a bitch. I don't know how he does this. This guy's crazy. This guy's like insane. Right? Quiet. Like right now. Listen. That what you're hearing is exactly what I'm hearing. Right? Not what you're hearing in your head, but what you hear here. Nothing. There's no thoughts. There's nothing. It's not hijacking me. Right? It's complete freedom. And you will get there also. You guys are the unicorns because you guys found the mind body space. You found my channel, which is great because there's going to be a lot of tools that you can tap into, all the success stories to give you the motivation, right? In the daily lives, right? In the community. It's beautiful. Oh, yes, please like and subscribe. Please subscribe so I can get more views. It seems like my views have dropped a little bit. I'm not sure. Probably the retrograde. And I'm not able to go live on TikTok anymore. So there's less eyes. There's a couple things. I don't know why. It just stopped working. So I've been mostly going live just on YouTube, which is fine. It'll all work itself out. So please subscribe. It helps the algorithm. Like it. Like it a bunch of times just to make sure it's working. Yes, absolutely. The anxiety has gotten insane. This insomnia. Yeah, right. Allow the insomnia. Ask more for, even go, I hope I have this insomnia for the whole month straight. And you know what? The times that I'm awake, I'm going to use that to do some more visuals and catch up on some dancing. I'm sure there's other things I can do. And make it your friend. Make the insomnia your friend, just like we do with all the other symptoms. Yep. Helmut, what are your thoughts on how many times you can do the same visuals? I know DNRS has a rule on this, but I like to do them sometimes until the dose wears off. I guess it depends on the person. Usually, I think it's 7 times where the brain starts to get bored. But there's been times where I would use the same. Future ones are really good. I never got bored of those. So it's kind of depends on you. Some people get bored after 2 times. Some people never get bored of one. But they do a rule just because to keep people moving because it's good to have a number that you can just follow, right? So yes, retrograde is what is it? In stellium with North Node and Saturn are you kidding? I don't know. Tell me more. I'd like to know more because I don't know anything about this. At this point, it feels massive anxiety disorder and anxiety manifests physically. Or, yeah. So the alarms manifest mentally and physically. Allow them to be there, let them do their thing, and speak safety while you're in the danger. So don't talk about symptoms. Don't talk about how horrible this symptom is and how relentless my insomnia is, or oh my god, my shoulder pain. It's just like I can't now, but I'm feeling. Oh my god, but I'm feeling. Right, sending a message of danger while you're in the danger. Hey, Michelle French, nice to see ya. I've been having crazy dreams that I keep thinking are messages from beyond. Yeah, I thought that too. I was seeing dead birds, dead rats. I was seeing dead animals that I'd never seen before in my life. Numerology everywhere I went. 2222, 1111, right? 777, right? 0101, like constantly everywhere, like double digit. And then I would. There's this Google place that I would check up on the numbers. Uh, Angel Sacred, I think it is. Something like that, where you put the number in and it tells you what the meaning is, right? And it was usually positive, but I was just obsessed, constantly looking for safety, and it was just relentless. What did the mental exhaustion feel like to you? Um, I don't know. I never really thought about it. It almost felt like I didn't have time to be exhausted because I was constantly going, right? Second by second. Uh, I try to do emotional meditation release. Don't know if I'm even close to doing this correct. Is this normal in the beginning? I couldn't do meditation because usually meditation they make you force yourself to be quiet your mind, and that was resistance, and that thing made things just multiply and get worse. Right? It would magnify, go. So I stayed away from meditation. I could only do visuals. Visuals, you put your brain to work. You take that energy and you put it to work to bring down the survival state and to update the program. So visuals are very powerful. Keep doing them. Here's one: when you're doing well and get a rug pull, how do you not get back to supplements? Not sure. I couldn't take supplements because I was so very sensitive, right? And I knew what was going on. I knew that because I was in a survival state, that certain, my body was not going to absorb nutrients perfectly, but that's fine. There's a reason for it. It made the call, and that's okay. So I had patience, allowed the symptoms, allowed the thoughts and the feelings, and eventually, when it regulated, it started to absorb everything it needed to absorb efficiently. My biome got back to balance. Everything in my body started to get back to balance, working in unison. How do you tell yourself about being safe at that moment? Well, you don't really tell yourself, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. That doesn't work. Saying the word, I'm safe, is like saying banana hammock. The brain doesn't care about that. The way you do it is by allowing the danger, right? Allow the danger while sitting in the danger. And the way you respond, are you freaking out, catastrophizing? Are you trying to get rid of it? While it's happening, are you engaging? Are you sticking to your routine? Right? Are you doing your visuals? Are you dancing? Are you elevating? All these things together send a message of safety while being in the danger. Me as well, but my bowels shut down altogether. Yep, that's normal. That's what happens, right? The brain doesn't care if you're, about that burrito. It doesn't care about digesting that. We got other things that are more important, so it kind of puts it aside. He's like, no, we got to keep this guy alive. Did you ever have to stop social media? Yes, for a while due to the negativity that there can be around healing. Yes. So I went off of Facebook fully just because I was a part of like 90 different groups that were toxic. So I had to get off of that. I kept Instagram and I kept YouTube, but I only watched, videos about cars, recipes, cooking, and traveling. And I also limited the amount of stuff that I was watching when it came to mind body stuff. Right? So I did my mind body work that I had to do for that day, and that was it. And I would go live life and stick to my routine. I would do my routine. So I wouldn't watch, a bunch of Dan Buglio videos and a bunch of success stories on DNRS and go into the forum and talk about all these people in the forums and go research more mind body stuff and TMS world and, talk to all these mind body people and talk about symptoms. Did you notice that? Did that go away? Yeah. How did that feel? Actually, no. What I had to do, I had to detox. And then, because one of these times you're going to get linked into something else, another modality. And all you're doing is you're putting focus on health. You're not living life, right? Which keeps the alarms on. So I did the mind body work. And as soon as I was done, I went and lived life. And you know what? The mind body work is pretty much living life. So that's great. But once in a blue moon, in the beginning, yeah, I was watching Dan Buglio videos. I did my, Dare app in the morning. Daily Dare was only 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. So that's okay. That's not too bad. Dan Buglio, maybe after a year, I gave it up. But I was like, in the beginning, I was researching mind body stuff constantly. But eventually, I stopped. I went off the DNRS forum. It was too triggering. And I just did the work and stuck to my routine. And that's it. Yeah. The horror of my experience. I think that's for everybody, right? The symptoms become our trauma, right? They become our triggers. Hey, how much caffeine seems to increase my pelvic symptoms? Then take a break, stop drinking the caffeine. Avoid it. Yes, we're doing avoidance behaviors. We're dealing so much on our plate. Caffeine, it's only temporary. Keep it off your plate for a while until you've recovered, and then you can start bringing the coffee back in, right? Because it's not the coffee, it's not the food, it's not the fill in the blanks. But when you're stuck in a survival state, it is all of them easily, right? But the root is none of them. So instead of being overwhelmed, right, take them off your plate, right? Keep it simple, right? Also be aware of your mental diet, be aware of your old behavior patterns, your environment, work environment. Is it too, I couldn't work. Is your partner a narcissist? Is it toxic? You got to get out. Like all these things, you got to create a bubble in the beginning. It's only temporary. Use whatever managing coping mechanisms that you need in the beginning, right? If it's medications, if it's supplements, whatever you need. If it's avoidance behaviors, coping, stretching, right? We're breaking all the TMS rules here, but it's only temporary. Eventually, you will get out of that bubble, right? And you will stop doing the coping mechanisms. And yes, coffee, yeah, take a break till you regulate, and then you can bring it back, and you probably won't be affected by it anymore. Do you think adding nutrition is beneficial, or can it be hindrance? I can't talk. If you focus on the right diet too much, well, the end goal is not to have to worry about using diet. We should be able to eat within reason, not 18 chocolate bars a day and a glass of milk. Within reason, should be able to have food freedom and thrive. But in the beginning, if you got to do what you got to do because it's able to make you think straight so you can do the work, then do it. Whatever it is, if it's taking that Advil or that medication or that doing that stretch or that avoidance, do what you got to do so you're not going crazy so that you can do the work. Because if you're not doing the work, you're never bringing that survival state down, right? Eventually, you'll come out of that bubble and you'll challenge your beliefs about food. I'm still working on that too. I'm recovered. I can eat freely, but I still have some old beliefs that I'm working through, and I'm also working on my weight. But I don't want to go on a diet, right? But there are tools that we can use only if you use them for tools and not as a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Did you ever do any breathing or meditation technique? No. Uh, if you need to in the beginning, use it. But you can ask yourself this question: if I was fully recovered, would I be using this hack? Would I be doing the breath work? Right? Would I be wasting my time going to these classes and doing breath work if I'm not trying to get rid of symptoms? If you say yes because you enjoy it, then do it because you like it, and for no other reason. Do it because you like it, because that brings your survival state down, and then you get benefits from it, right? But if you're using it to get rid of something, then it's not a good message to send. Also, I had to change my view about walking. I used to go for walks to burn my cortisol so I can get sleep because I had insomnia. I had to change my view about that. Instead, I went for walks because I enjoy walks for no other reason, just to enjoy walks. And I got the benefits were bonus, right? But I enjoyed it. It brought my survival state down, which made me feel great. Um, with Dan Buglio, I think it's more that I think his stuff was really good for me in my journey in the beginning, especially because he's not triggering. He's he gives motivation and he helps a lot of people. Right? I respect him big time for that. Um, the issues that I have sometimes is when he gives people advice about things he doesn't know about, especially with like anxiety or food sensitivities or you name it. Like he's been through the back pain stuff, and which is he's experienced that. But other than that, I think he's limited on experiencing these symptoms. So telling people to dial down the fear and eat that pizza, you'll be okay, is not a good thing. But other than that, I think his stuff is really good for because you don't talk about symptoms too much, and for people that are triggered, I think it's good for that, especially in the beginning, right? Okay, let's see here. Where's my like my numbers are usually at like way almost double. I'm gonna have to look into it or just allow it, let it do its thing, and then retrograde will take care of the rest, I'm sure. All right, here we go. Tracy, good to see you. Thick gray clouds around my head and body, especially in the mornings, may be related to emotional processing. Do I need to just befriend it, or is it the sign of being outside my window of tolerance? Well, what I would do is just allow it. Allow it what you can, whatever the brain sends you. Allow it. You don't have to do any digging, looking for any sort of messages or deeper meaning or any of that shit. Just allow it and move on and engage, right? While you're dealing with the symptoms, engage. Make your bed, listen to a daily dare, brush your teeth. All right, we're going out. We're doing our visuals. We go for a drive. You park the car. You have your tea. You have a meeting with yourself, right? You're parked over in a nice, calm trail. There's nobody around. No Karens telling you what to do. Excuse me, sir. You can't, right? You can't park here. Nice, calm area. You do your visuals, and then you go for your walks, and then you stick to your schedule because everybody's got a calendar where you have your schedule lined up. Every day is Groundhog Day, and you just follow it. Because when you're dealing with a situation where you all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm ruminating. Shit, I'm ruminating. What am I doing here? What does my schedule say? Oh, 2:00. I'm supposed to be going for my walk. Okay, let's go. Right? The brain's gonna hijack you. It's gonna win. It's supposed to win. That's its job. Right? It has to win because it's got to get your attention to the danger. So we got to be prepared, right? You got to have all the things to help you, support you, so you're successful in this journey. You're going to have delays here and there. That's normal. but we want to eventually get to the other side. Depression, yes, I did feel it. I also felt, well, anxiety, depression. I felt anger, fear most of the time, and the nothingness, where I felt nothing, which was actually fear. I guess what I feel is brain fog or something. Yep, I felt brain fog, derealization. What's the other one? Derealization, depersonalization. This is where you feel like you're floating. You're not. You feel like you're not really real. Like you're watching a movie of yourself. That's scary. When that happens, that'll make you catastrophize right quick. Catastrophize. So that's fries with chives and stuffing and gravy and cranberry and peas. All right. All right, here we go. This is my issue when symptoms are bad. I go for junk food and sweets. You know what? For now, do it. Do the junk food and the sweets. But just do the work. Do the work. Allow the symptoms. Let them do their thing. And eventually, down the road, after you're recovered, you can work on the food habits. Is it okay to do guided visualizations instead of making it up yourself? I think in the beginning, you might need a little help. So guided visualizations, right? If you're a person that can really not do them, right? Because there's lots of options. If you can't go back in time because your gate is closed, or you can't because there's too many negative memories, you can make them up. You can make fantasy visuals up, or you can go back in time, pretend you're doing a past life regression, living in the 1920s, put some 1920s music on in the background, speak the visual into your phone, speak it, right? Because if you don't speak it, because it helps you be accountable, so that you don't end up going somewhere else and ruminating. So there's that, and you can do walk and talks. Let's say you're having problems. You can do walk and talks where you're just talking and walking, talking about anything and nothing negative, just talking about what you're going to do this week, next week, what you're going to do in your future, what you're going to do in 5 years, right? Talking about changing a tire. It doesn't matter. We just got to start, right? You can talk to your future self. You can get advice from your future self and go, Helmut, you've been doing great work. We're happy. Keep going. Because of you, we're able to live our best life, right? I live out in the mountains with lakes all around me. The dogs are happy, right? We're living in the house isn't too big because we don't really want a big house. We want a medium-sized house. That's fine. But we want, thanks to you, we're able to have all these things because you did all the work. So high five. Be like, oh, that's amazing. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So keep going, Helmut. Okay, can you give me some advice? Like any challenges that I'm going to face? Yeah, the looping thoughts will come up. That's okay. That's normal. Keep doing what you're doing. You're going to make it through it. I'm not going to tell you too much because I don't want you to get different information that's going to cock block your journey. Okay, thank you. Right? Like there's a couple examples. And worst comes to worst. If you can't do any of that, there's not too many people, but there are some. Then take 45 minutes of your visuals. Keep 15 there, and put it towards your raising your vibration, playtime, elevating, right? So still do 15 minutes. Keep doing it, and eventually, when your survival state comes down, your gate will open. You'll flow more with your visuals. What else was I gonna say? In the beginning, it's normal for you not to be in tune with your visuals because you're running a survival state. So it takes time. That's why it's important to do an hour, because you're gonna fail most of that hour because it's learning. It's like falling off a bike 20,000 times before you finally learn how to ride the bike. That's why we have the hour, so you can fall off the bike as much as you can and just start. Eventually, you're going to get on the bike and you're going to be able to do visuals throughout the whole time and get into a flow and actually enjoy it. So it takes time. So if you're one of those people that can't do you can't even, right? Then move the time from one pillar to another pillar. This means you're doing an hour and 45 minutes of just elevating, which also brings the survival state down. And eventually, when the survival state has come down enough, you can put that time back and get into a flow. Or use guided visualizations to help you kickstart the journey. And that'll help. Okay. How will you know when the in the beginning phase is over? I've been in the practice for about a year, have made progress, but of course some days are like the beginning. Yep, that's normal. Most days were not just like the beginning. Most days were just shit. They were worse than the beginning. The beginning was just the beginning. It was just totally different. You might notice that the beginning journey is different than the middle journey, totally different than the end, right? Same pile of shit, just different. You got maybe peanuts here and parmesan, and over here you had beets. Right? It's just different, a different journey, different challenges, right? I'm trying to go live. My goal is to go either. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to see if I get more views around 5 or 4. I prefer to go at 2, but I noticed when I went at 2, I was getting like nobody. And I looked at the analytics, and it said that the best times to go is 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So I'm going to try the 4. I'm going to try the 5, and then I'm going to choose a time and go, this is where I'm going to go on every day. So Monday to Thursday, maybe Friday, I'm going to go live. I'm going to try to keep that schedule going. And then I'm going to try to do one video a week with me in my truck. Still doing Tea in the Trenches with Sam. I'm trying to convince her to go weekly, but she's really busy, right? So she's like, it will all work out, Helmut. We will figure it out. I'm like, yep. So hopefully we'll go weekly, right? So maybe you guys can bug her. And what else? So there's the lives, there's the normal content, there's Tea in the Trenches, and also Sam will be putting out content, just her, right? And what else? We'll be doing group coaching and coaching. So this is keeping and editing videos, editing, and Maria is also helping with that. Maria is here. She's the best editor. She's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep, I got to do a visual video for everybody. I just got through listening to your second talk with Simona, I think, with a powerful discussion. Everyone should listen to this. All the answers are here. You should have her on again. Simona, right? Yeah, she's amazing. I've had her 3 times, I think. Something like that. Simmons video. Simmons. I think you mean... Clarify that. Do you mean Simona? Did you ever deal with reflux? Yes, constantly. Right? I was constantly. It was one of the many symptoms that I had. Eventually, it effed off. And my coping mechanisms were not eating after 6 and not eating any sweets before bed. And, I didn't take any of the, some of the coping mechanisms. Like some people drink certain things and use certain things to bring. I didn't do any of that. I just lived with it and allowed it, let it do its thing. And the more I did the work every day, it went away. So I missed this. I will try to watch late after. Yep, no problem. I'm still trying to figure out a time zone that works for everybody. So I'm working on it. Send notifications so we'll know ahead of time. Yes, I should. I know. I gotta find Simona. Yes, I gotta find a good time to do that. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. So this one, what was this? I don't even know what this was about. Simona. Yeah. This was, why do symptoms move around? Because it's getting your attention. So I'll do a little recap. It's trying to get your attention, right? And if it can't get your attention with the same old alarm because you're working through it, it has to bring in an old alarm or a fresh one, a crispy fresh one to get your attention, to bait you in, right? To the liger that's on your back that's about to eat you. Joe Dispenza. Oh, okay, I'll stay on for another 30 seconds. Joe Dispenza. I bought a bunch of his books. I did all his meditations and stuff. Some of the breathwork ones were like hardcore. I almost passed out. I really like what he's doing with all the research he's doing and he's bringing awareness to the mind body stuff. But what I didn't like is that he didn't give steps. He didn't go, okay, do this, 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 and this, and this will happen, and then do this, and then that'll happen, and then you'll be okay, and you're done, right? None of that. He just kind of, he was very general. He's just very, right, and he kind of knew some of the stuff that we're talking about, like mast cell activation syndrome. Like he talked about, yeah, I had an audience member that couldn't eat any food, which was really strange. I don't know, and she was here for one time, and then she got totally recovered, and blah blah blah. Like some of the stuff, I was like, I don't know, and I think he wasn't aware. He doesn't have enough experience with all this stuff because he only experienced his experience, which is good and powerful. So he's limiting in certain ways. So I kind of gave up on him, and I didn't read all his books because I was like, you know what, my experience is all I need. I bought so many books, and I read like maybe none, right? So I go with my own experience because I fully trust it, and I don't want it to be tainted by other information because that can happen. Sometimes your mind can bring something else in, and it could. I don't want it to taint my experience, right? So I left. I stopped getting into him, but I respect him. I think he's great. He did early on though. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see here. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate you guys. Um, please subscribe and share and like. And I will see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, man. I'll see you at 4. 4. Right? Okie doke. Artichoke.